So welcome back to the next episode of the Critical Moves podcast. I'm Al, and today we've got something really special for you. We're going to be interviewing a couple of the guys involved with Defcon Zero, Frontlines of Tomorrow, a new RTS in development. As usual, I've got my trusty sidekick Tim with me.
Hey guys, how you doing?
And we have Amir and Almog from TriArts Games. Could you guys just say hi?
Hey!
Hey everyone.
So just one at a time, just give us a brief introduction who you are and what your role is within TriArts.
Hey everyone again, I'm Almog, I'm 39 years old and I'm the CEO and game director of Defcon Zero. Beside that, in my management roles, I'm also contributing to the project with 3D art, procedural environment creation, rigging, animation for the past 2 years, and everything related to music production and sound design. Amir, go ahead.
I will continue. So, hey, I am Amir. I'm 30 years old. My spirit animal is bearded dragon. I'm the game producer. I'm also the lead game designer and creative director at TriArts. And like most indie studios at this stage, we all wear lots of hats. That's a part of building something from the ground up. Over the time, the team will grow and those roles will spread out to more people. But for right now, we're just building it layer by layer, and it helps all the decisions be aligned for the start at least.
Perfect segue then. So what are you building? Tell us about Defcon Zero.
Well, Defcon Zero is a classic RTS with all the classic fun, base building, resource gathering, army management, and everything that made us fall in love with this genre back in the 2000s and early 90s. But beside that, we're aiming for an evolution of the genre and not trying to change it. We're trying to take what we loved and make it a little bit better, a little bit more suitable for our times with today's technology. And we find that it's clicking with our community and the RTS community lately.
I think Defcon Zero, it's like mashing out most of the RTS we liked back then, and that's what make us great, because even if you look at our Discord, we talk the same language as our fans, which really help us understand what we want in that game and what they want in that game, and meet together so nobody will be left out. I don't want to be left out too, or one of my audience. So this is what we aim, and I think that really help us understand the game. And each month that we go through, we understand more and more what we want. And right now we are at pre-production, and we work so hard to bring this game to the tightest spot we can. So you won't be like too spread out and too many RTS in one game. So I think that's really helped us, the community and all around it.
Indie games, I think, are just the way forward when it comes to the games industry and strategy games and RTS in particular, because you're gamers making a game that you want to play rather than being beholden to anybody.
Exactly.
And I think that's just the perfect setup. I wanted to ask a question about Tim Campbell. Almog, I think you've made some comment about it. It was you received an endorsement from Tim Campbell. For those who don't know,
No, it was actually Amir.
Was it Amir?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Amir. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll direct the question to you then.
Sure.
And I think you said you were quite emotional when you received this endorsement. Can you talk to me about that?
Yeah, honestly, the Tim Campbell moment was surreal for me. Tim had been following our work for a while, our posts, our discussion about RTS design, the way we talked about Defcon Zero, and at some point that reached to him, and then he reached to us. The day that he sent me a message, I think this was like in September. We were before so many things that happens at that moment, and I will never forget that specific moment because it was so exciting for me. And it took me almost, I think, an hour before I replied to him, because I just like I sat down with my wife in the living room and we watched a movie and then I'm like, hey, I'm getting a message on LinkedIn and then I'm seeing Tim Campbell. I'm like, what? What? And then I sent the message directly to the partners, to Almog and the other two, and from there it turned into a real conversation. And we quickly realized you really do want to meet your heroes. Today, Tim is an active development advisor for us, bringing decades of experience. He helped us with his battle scars. He has so many probably since all of the games he was in, and not specifically, the last one, but he has so many other games that he was in, and it really helped us understand what we truly want. But truly, I like to talk about this relationship that is Tim never tries to control any decision since the day he worked with us, and he always have our backs, and he's like, only promoting what we are doing, in the closed rooms when we work, and he really help us understand that like this is a green light, you should do this, you should just work in that way, and those validations means a lot for us. And when he told us we are on the right path and that Defcon Zero really belongs to the RTS conversation today.
That's exciting, and I feel like mixing the old and the new together with people and with game mechanics is a way to go, because there's always something to learn from the past, and mixing it with freshness. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, if I would add something small to that, we always say between us when we work that we're trying to relive the old Westwood spirit. And when Tim sent that message, it was like, mind-blowing for us.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't grow up on Westwood games, but I remember playing Command & Conquer in 1995 and Red Alert in 1996 because I am that old. I remember when they released and they were revolutionary, and it was just like just fantastic. And it must just be such an incredible honor to have somebody with that pedigree, that legacy, original Westwood, to say, "Hey, I really dig what you guys are doing."
Yeah, because this was the days that you felt that creativity was all over the place and everything was so innovating and new for everyone. So yeah, it was very exciting time to be alive. And I'm old as well, by the way.
As old guys can stick together, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But I guess it must have made you. Was that the moment that you realized we are actually working towards something which can be successful? Or did you always think this is going to be great anyway?
No, actually, since the first post I posted in the Command & Conquer community, it was only a screenshot of a tank that I did in a small environment. It got a lot of love and a lot of comments, and everybody was, well, where can I buy it? It was only like the first asset that I did before everybody joined. That gave me a lot of drive to start growing and looking for more people to actually join the project. And since that, we met the guys and we pushed it almost to the stars.
I think the last time I checked, you was on about 10,000 wish lists. What's the real-time number?
For now, it's 12,000.
And this is all organic, isn't it? There's been this is just an organic achievement. This is through the work that you've done to promote the game.
Yeah, we're sticking our promotion with the community. So we tried to push it with paid promotion, and to be honest, our organic promotion is working better. And we're trying to stick to that, not because we don't want to spend the money, because we're reaching the right people through organic much better than the other ways. And it's a nice achievement, but we know it's only the beginning, and we know it's a nice small achievement. It's not really the goal, and we have a long way to go. But we can see that the community likes it and pushing it, and it's giving us a lot of strength.
And is that your philosophy? It's around the community building and getting people involved. Yeah. Because I've been a member of the Discord of your Discord server, which I'll stick in the link of this episode for I don't know, 18 months, maybe something like that. And there's always lots of updates. I think we actually get the news updates into the Critical Move server as well. We have you set up so that when you post something, it comes into our server because we like you. So
Yeah, I think with projects like these, some things that are not always seen from the outside, but something that drives success is resilience and like continuing on and having long-term vision. So I'm happy to hear that it's definitely present in your project.
Thank you. We definitely have a lot of resilience because we're working for 2 years for free on this project and trying to create this the demo that we did, and in such projects that we were working without salary, you have ups, you have downs, and we had some obstacles along the way, and we managed to push through. Yeah, and now we haven't posted a lot of updates recently because we are about to post the biggest update we could ever had. We can't say much about that, but it's a matter of days, probably.
A little bit of a tease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when is that going out?
It's a matter of days, as I said. Let's say the days to a week now. Yeah.
Because there's a month before this goes out.
Yeah, we could probably,
Yeah, I think so. If it won't be happening, we can delete this part.
Yeah, so we're getting funded for $4.5 million. Yeah.
Woo!
And we actually just went to see the offices and started to collaborating with some experienced teams and starting to get really experienced and super professional employees to work with us, and it's going in the direction that we all dreamed of. So it's a big moment, Actually, today is the day that we're supposed to see the money in the account. So
Wow, congratulations.
we're quite shaking here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, fantastic. So we've caught you at a very special moment then.
Yeah, it's a moment that we're working on for the last 6 months. This is why we went a bit stealthier than usual with our updates and stuff like that, because we had a lot of changes, and we understand that the demo that we did was a tech demo that was intended to bring those funds. And now we're actually going into proper pre-production and doing everything in the best way that we can possibly do.
So is this with a publisher?
It's not with the publisher. It's we can't. I don't know if we can disclose actually the name or that, but the guy and his team are huge RTS fans, and they're putting this money out of passion for the genre and not because of business. And so the motives are good as well. And we couldn't ask for better, to be honest.
So I imagine that's really good then for your creative freedom as well.
Yeah. They're not going to be involved in any of the decisions. They're actually, the involvement is more on sometimes it's on the artistic side, but only when we want to listen, and they had it very clarified for us since the beginning.
So speaking of creativity, Almog, you were a psytrance DJ. Is that correct?
True.
Wow.
only recently I actually stopped with getting shows and stuff like that because of that announcement we just did. And I told my partner that you can have the project for now and on until I decide to go back.
And Amir, you were a gaming influencer.
Yeah. I'm doing for around 30 years. I'm doing reviews for games and many types of games, not only RTS. But I've been to Gamescom for more than almost 8 times. Yeah, 7 times. It was supposed to be 8, but it didn't happen. And I started from reviewing games, and I had managing this little forum about RTS games. And later on, I started managing the biggest Red Alert Command and Conquer group on Facebook, which has 80,000 people. From then, I started working on some RTS game design documents and kept developing this side. After so many years, I started working in the industry as marketing and community, and then I started doing game design much in a more professional way. And later on, I met Almog and Eli and Michael, which are the other two partners, and we started doing this huge game together, and never been happier.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. One of the things that I think helped me very much with the game is being a game influencer. You have to work a lot with community and understand gamers and understand games and how they work. And it also helped me with the other things I do with the podcast. I also did. I was doing there, analyzing games, and it really helped me in this stage when I'm managing our Discord and our other socials to talk with people in their level as I did before when I was the game influencer and not as the game producer with all the titles and everything. I think that really help us being on ground level with everyone, and I intend to keep that way. And even though if we'll go to those big offices and everything else, we will still be on Discord. We will still answer people because that's who we are. We try to stay in that modest philosophy, and because this is how we work.
Don't forget your roots. Remember where you
Yeah.
came from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my father.
exactly.
Yeah, I want to say that little things that my father, he was a plumber, and he always has this little cube of dirty water and everything when he was plumbing, and he always smelled that just to remember that this is where he started and where he got at the end of the day with having a house and everything. I always tell me, remember your roots. It's the important thing in your life, the most important thing.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what Amir said about his background, and I feel the same. I feel that everything that I did in life was intended to move me towards Defcon Zero, if it's from the music career or I was making festivals as well, by the way, like festivals for 15,000 people, 12,000 people. But it taught me so many things that helped me in this project. With the music side, let's say, to think on a global scale and working with people around the world, and a large community around my music as well. And from the festival side, it was more about dealing with a lot of bureaucracy, dealing with large team and budgets. It really feels like everything that I did in life, even though it's not related to gaming, was directly meant to get me into this moment.
Yeah, I think also something that I really enjoy from the past year of strategy games is this concept of made by gamers for gamers that really rings true as well.
Yeah, that was the goal, that was the dream since childhood. I couldn't done it because of the music career that exploded, and it was capturing a lot of my life. But since COVID, I sat down and went to school again at the age of 35 just to learn 3D art and game development and doing whatever I can to push this project. Spend a lot of time and energy around it, even before the first picture that I ever posted. So
let's move on to the game then. So there's a few things about the game which really caught my eye. I wanted to drill down and talk to you guys about them. The first one is the weapon priority system. Can you explain the concept of this, how it works?
Yeah, of course. So the weapon priority system is there to make your unit smarter. Not to take your control. It's very important to us that the player will have the control and not like, the game will play with itself, because then it will be a mobile game. By default, your units they will react intelligently. They know what are the right targets for them. They have this priority between targets, and it's given the situation. They also know which weapons to use, which because every unit will probably have more than one weapon. So the first response in combat actually makes sense. That's especially important in RTS, which first response can, either way help you or destroy you. Well, you can always, microing. It's something that a lot of people today have problem with it sometimes. So so let's talk about us. I'm like a little bit of a turtle guy. I'm not playing that fast. So
Me too. Me too.
So yeah,
It's
so
the
the
same.
macroing will help us. Yeah, the macroing will help us. But at the same time, the player has a full control over that. If your units will focus on one of the targets, you can always override them instantly and do whatever you want. So we don't even take the power from the micro players. We just help the macro players there, which is very important for us because sometimes you have like multiple enemies around you and you cannot attend to any situation fast, and it can really ruin your day, let's say. So think about it as like a safety measure, like a safety net. It helps you win fights when your attention is elsewhere. So this is what we aim in the priority system.
Is it more advanced then? So when you were talking about that, my first thought was the mammoth tank in Red Alert, which has its cannon, but also has the rockets for. And if it's targeting infantry, it would fire the rockets, which are high explosive, and they're gone. Are we taking it beyond that level?
Yeah, it's a little bit beyond because they will also has the priority between different enemies they encounter. They will know which enemy they will need to target first, which is the biggest threat to them. So we aim in that point. And we decided that even if someone already did that and it's behind the scenes in any RTS we ever played, we thought that it is important, so we already game designed it.
Yeah, I love it too, and I love your focus on eliminating frustration. I think that's something that so often happens in strategy games. Exactly like you said, you look away for a moment, and then your army disappears because you didn't pay attention to it, and the result of that is this feeling of frustration of like, oh, damn it, and then you feel like you wasted so much time, and on a small mistake, you lose out. So I love to hear that.
A good example would be your tank is firing at an infantryman. When there's a tank behind the infantryman, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
and you've coded that response into the game. So the tank says, well, hang on, the tank is much more of a threat to me than what the man with the rifle is, and it will re-engage the priority target.
Yeah, but if you decided to aim at the units first, at the infantry first, that's your decision, man.
Yeah, you can always override it.
So the player retains control. However, this is just intelligent design. So if you are, as you say, focused elsewhere, your unit will pick a priority target which is coded into its behavior.
Yes,
I like
exactly.
that.
I'm happy that you like it.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Like, there's a point in your score column. Well done. Now, there's two factions, isn't there? It's the ERA and ARM.
Yeah, we actually call them ERA. It's more, it's rolling better. Yeah.
Only two factions, and that was. I think a lot of games now launch with three. Tends to be the three is the magic number. What was the decision to go with just two? And there's a lot of asymmetry in this, isn't there, as well?
Yeah. It's actually two for now. I mean, we already know the lore. Let's call it for the entire franchise, not for the entire, not only for the first game. And we're unveiling things as we move on, because this game, it's not the first game; it's the first part of the story.
Ambitious, nice.
Yeah, we're aiming for a big project because we like to to do it all the way or not doing it at all. Because if you're making your dream project, it need to be a dream project. I mean, this is how I see it. So about the asymmetry, we have ERA. which are more, let's say, this big corporation that become the governing party of Eros. They control most of the resources. They control a lot of the planet. They actually live behind a huge wall to push everybody else out because I don't want to spoil it that much, but we had some kind of a disaster on this planet, and the planet was split into two major factions. And they are really technological and advanced and using more precision than brute force. On the other hand, you have, it's a little bit of a play with words. On the other hand, you have ARM. And they are the survivors. They're taking everything they can to build the army. They're using a lot of old tech from the ruined older days to create their army and to create their structures. They're actually a religious movement with a goal to bring back their elder gods.
Yeah, I imagine with the asymmetry, it's already difficult to balance everything with two factions. So, speaking from experience, when I say three factions, makes it like so much harder, especially if you keep up with asymmetry.
It's not just 50% more, is it? It's
No. It's
everything has to
exponential.
balance everything
Because there's so many more interactions. Yeah.
But I think we have a little bit of a gray spirit here because the structure of the game that we're building, that the first game is focusing on era, and you need to balance it against ARM, and then on the second game you will have some. I can't spoil it, but you will have some more interesting. Yeah,
spoil it.
I want to so much, but I can't. I really can't talk about it.
Yeah. When we turn the microphones off, you can tell us then.
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem about it.
I can add on that if we'll see you guys maybe one day in Gamescom or something, we can totally show you more,
Yeah,
yeah, and expand what we already visioned. So it will really help you understand why the whole idea around playing his era at the first game and all the other things around it. It has always been connected to the lore and how we want this saga to be out there. We really believe in that, and this is why we don't spoil it even in our updates and posts, because we don't want to ruin this idea of waiting for the right moment to let people enjoy the whole cake at once and not like just bite then another bite.
Yeah, we don't really believe in showing everything before the game. I remember when I first played Command and Conquer, and I still remember the first level that we played near the ocean, right? When you get your first MCV and everything, and you went to explore so slowly because you don't know what to expect because of the fog of war, and you saw the Tiberium, but you had no idea what it is, and you started to understand very slowly how the story unfolds, and this is what we aim for as well, to get that experience. But besides that, and besides the factions, I can tell you that Eros as a planet is a very dangerous place to live in. And you will have a lot of challenges besides the factions themselves.
Yeah, I love that. I think exploring a game and discovering it is part of the whole experience of it.
So one of the things that was built into this asymmetry was ARM propaganda. Can you tell us how that mechanic works?
How can I say it without spoilers again?
if you can't, then that's fine.
It will be embedded. It will be embedded in ARM in every possible way. I can say it will work on civilians as well, but I can't really share more than that.
Yeah. Such a tease.
Yeah, well, it's still early, we're just getting into the offices, so we have a lot of time ahead.
So it's like a novel kind of mechanic.
Yeah, we're working on the world itself to be interactive. Let's say it like that.
Nice. Yeah.
As a part of the story and the lore as well. I mean, it's not only a mechanic just to have another mechanic in the game. It's actually part of the story.
Yeah, it meshes together. Nice.
Yeah.
So you really impressed me with the weapon priority system, and there's a couple of other mechanics which I think that are worth exploring. It's the cover system, and you also have day-night cycles as well. That's planned, isn't it?
I know something about like cover systems and day and night cycles are not new in RTS, yeah. But and we are also like, we know that we cannot invent the genre. Nobody thinks that way. We know that probably if we looked at cover systems, we looked at Company of Heroes, Dawn of War, and if you know Warcraft for day and night cycles. It's something that is built in with us because we play those games, as RTS fans. But we like those mechanics, and we saw a lot of people giving, their thoughts about it, and we had thoughts about it, and we combined it into something of our own. And our approach is a little bit flexible in that area because in our game, units can enter automatically to cover if they are attacked. And you can do it manually too as a player. But we want that little macro thing like we had in the weapons priority when a unit's getting attacked. So there will be lots of cover spread around the area. They will go into that cover, and it will really help us make the experience for the player easier in some points, like we did with the weapon priority. And we are experimenting with a few twists in that area, but we'd reveal that later. It's another thing that we don't want to spoil. But I can tell that if you know CQB, which is close quarter combat, it's a really huge thing for military guys, and a lot of people love those areas. And I've been investigating those things for like years because I really like those. And we try to find ways to implement those little things, maybe in animations, maybe in mechanics too. It's a little bit complex than what it looks like outside, but if you can macro it into something not that heavy, it could be very possible that we will add those into our game as a much more, it's another layer, let's say, for this mechanic. In the day and night area, because we already told you that Defcon Zero takes place in Eros, which is not Earth, and it gives you a room that cycles are not always the same, and day and night is not always the same. And things that can happen in the night won't probably happen in the morning. And this is another thing that we don't want to go deeper to not spoil it, of course, but those little differences that you can do with only day and night for the player can really help them to enjoy every tiny bit of this game. Even if you're at the night, if you're at the day, you will always be ready for another sequence, another scene, and it really it really adds to this world, because we create a new world and we don't want it to be another part of the same world that we already saw in so many games.
I really like this approach. I think that, again, with the cover mechanics, you've said, you want to include them because you really like them in RTS games. And I think that's a great thing to just come out and say, we really like this part of the game, so we're going to include it. We're saying, how do we make it better? And from what you've described there, if you've got infantry out in the open that come under fire, they're going to seek cover, which is a natural response for anybody who's being shot at, is to go to ground, get your head down, and get behind a solid object and survive. So, well, there you go. It's adding realism to it, isn't it? Those are the behaviors that you would expect from that unit in the real world.
Yeah, we try to get a realistic gameplay, but without losing the fun, because reality is a bit boring. So, but we try to balance it as well. I mean, we're playing games to escape reality, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But one of the things that annoyed me a little bit in the old games, it's that you see a tank firing on infantry and they're receiving one shell after another, and just the health bar is going down and down until they die. And this will not be the case in Defcon Zero. If an infantry squad will get a shell exactly in the middle, they will all gonna be dust probably. But this is why they have the cover mechanic. So they will run from shells, they run from artillery and take cover and hide in places. They will also have some areas that they can go and like thick forests, for example, and vehicles can't enter, so you can hide inside. The infantry will also be super effective in urban and tight battlegrounds. They will be super effective against infantry, against vehicles. Sorry.
I have a question. Will you guys or do you guys work with special damages and rock paper scissor mechanics?
Yeah, I can tell that it's some kind of rock paper scissor, but we also has those, we more into the resistance area. We have different types of resistance, which is like, it's kind of like we do with the rock paper scissor, but a little bit different. Because we have different type of units, and we also have air units, we have naval units, so you kind of need this rock paper scissor type of thing, but you want to expand that. So if someone do fire or someone do something else, so you want those another type of resistance that you will have. And also you have the AoE and direct damage, and I think our developers are going to hate us so much, but the CDO is like getting the hang of everything, and because all of us, the developers, we are RTS players, so it's not nothing to explain to someone what we want to do. It's really easy for us, and that makes this a lot more helpful. And I can tell that most of the time I'm just like putting out something that I need in the game. Like for the technical demo, it was like that, and just like in an instant, this guy Eli, which is the CDO, he was like, "Oh yeah, I know what you mean," and then he just did it, and I was like, I hope that will happen too later on. It's so easy that way.
Yeah, it's very important for us to have developers that do understand RTS, and this is one of the things that we actually check before we accept someone to the team. And in the near future, it will be not be only accept someone for the team; it will be hired for the team. So it's very important for us.
I want to talk about infantry. You've alluded to infantry there in terms of the cover mechanics, to be able to go into forests and things like that, or being better in narrow streets. So I think historically infantry in these kind of games have almost been like a meat shield. Of your first units you send out to scout, but then once you move into your tanks and your vehicles, infantry kind of lose their usefulness. Have you accommodated that with the design philosophy for Defcon Zero?
Yeah, I mean, as we discussed before, with the cover systems and all of these kind of advantages that the infantry have, you will able to use your tier 1 infantry even against like tier 3 vehicles if the right environment suits this situation. I mean, you can even run away from vehicles if you're like, I don't know, in the open and you see a forest, you can just run inside, and some vehicles will not be able to go after you, because we want to make up for this kind of things, and because we don't like what we had before, like an infantry like lining up like it's the American Civil War, and shooting each other.
History's most boring conflict.
Yeah, absolutely.
May I add on? I want to add something. Infantry will probably always be in realistic and in games meat shield for cannons, because they're still humans, or like foot ground units that supposed to enter small places, tiny things, and put the flag on, and those are ground forces. This is why everybody say air superiority and things like that today in matter of realistic. But if you do it correctly and you help the player use the infantry the right way, it can feel less cannon meat and more like something that I should use because they are cheap. You can do a lot with infantry today, and if you have garrison in your game, which is like one of the first thing we thought about when we talked about the RTS game, then it's smart and you can use it, and it could be really helpful for you.
Yeah, the approach is like you can use the right unit for the right job.
And infantry remains relevant all the way through and can often be the right unit for that job.
Absolutely.
Okay, I mean we're notching up the points here, guys. keep
I
going.
mean, we're accepting. We want this kind of things to happen in games for ourselves. We want to play in this kind of games. So we thought about how, even if you put Defcon Zero to the side at the moment, if I could give in the past those ideas to someone else in a game that I would like, and I want to play this game, I would, but we started to meet more game developers only after Defcon Zero, so now we're keeping these things for ourselves at the moment.
Yeah.
So one of the things which you said was you wanted to bring lived experience around conflict and war to the project. How does that inform the game design, those experiences that you've had?
Let's put the elephant in the room. As an Israeli guy, you learn a lot about combat, and you hear a lot about it, and because you experience it so close, you learn about it a lot. And I always loved weapons and being integrated with them. So I try to take the game design idea as much closer to what I know, to what I learned. And it really helps me with the game design, writing everything down in the current way. And we are very strict about keeping the idea of politics out of it because we are doing a world which is not related to what we are having here, and it really help us make those whole nightmares that's going on in our world left out, and we enter only the good experience and fun in RTS games. And in the end of the day, this is an RTS game meant to be played and enjoyed by everyone around the world. It doesn't matter, nothing matter here. We just want everyone who loves RTS games to enjoy this game. And that said, we can deny that living the experience, it's still there. We've all experienced a conflict in different ways, and that shapes how we think. In the end of the day, it's not it's not the idea of ideology or anything like that, but it helps us, it affects us as human being, and you feel a lot of pressure, decision making, consequences, and it really change your mindset. And the natural mindset that I have as a game designer will be probably different than a game designer who lives in Asia, or a game designer that lives in Australia or the United States. We will probably have different mindsets and different approach and different things that we think that will help the user experience be better. It also, I can put it in this way, as a team, as the developers team, it helped us grow. We had times that we had to work while we were shot missiles at our country, and we still work. We still went into the safe room, and we kept working. It also sometimes had some let's say references when we wrote ideas, and not in the darker way, but it will help us be more aware of the real things that happen in the world in matter of war. And today, not like 20 or 30 years ago, there wasn't so many military knowledge that you can experience from YouTube or reading about them. And today it's so easy to get into, understand what this weapon do, this idea that those guys doing. So it really help you design systems which will be like, a little bit sci-fi, a little bit, you invented something, but it also help you become more grounded. And when it comes to the faction and the lore, it really help you imagine every tiny bit of the game, and it helps you keep the game grounded. Because if you go too much to the sci-fi area, sometimes people like having back, they don't want that. They want a game which is a little bit more grounded. So this is what we aim. And I think that area of grounded games really help us understand more and more what we want in Defcon Zero.
Yeah, I find it indeed interesting. We just talked about the infantry and the importance of infantry later on, and I think in the conflict of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, we see exactly that infantry has kept a very big importance in warfare, and maybe more so than many would have expected.
The way that I look at it is that if I was a game designer designing an RTS game, I would be pulling my references or knowledge from war movies, from other RTS games, from, as you say, from YouTube, where there's documentaries, whereas you can draw on personal experience.
Yeah, it's as we always say, how many RTS games are being developed under rocket fire right now?
So for developing Defcon Zero, you've gone with Unreal Engine. That's correct, isn't it? Which is, I was quite surprised. I expected Unity or maybe something custom. What was the choice behind Unreal Engine?
Basically, the technology that Unreal offers you. We're aware of the issues that community say about optimizations and stuff like that, but we actually, with our demo, we tested it on a Gen 3 Intel CPU with an RTX 970, and it was on low settings, right? But it was running on 30 FPS on a very low-end computer, and it was running between 60 to 90 FPS on mid systems. So optimizations, it's a matter of if you do it right or not, basically.
And it does look great. I mean, the videos you've put out, I think one of the major things about Unreal is the lighting, and you really see that. I love the fires, the shots. They look really beautiful, and they feel powerful. I can imagine playing the game and feeling powerful just by the lighting effects.
Yeah, Lumen is amazing. This is one of the main reasons we went for Unreal. We were a bit. I wouldn't say scared at the beginning, but we had our doubts about it for some members of our team. But after we finished with the tech demo, which was not, let's say, overly optimized. I mean, it was optimized for some extent, and it was still running smoothly on all of the team of our team's PCs, and it was looking good. And it was feeling good, running good. So we decided to move on with Unreal as well.
Was any of the decision based around people's experience? So if you have someone who's already used Unreal Engine, it would make sense for them to use it again because they already have those skills rather than to learn something new.
No, that's of course. We at the beginning we want after only one developer in our team. I mean, we have a lot of 3D artists, we have some management members, we have game designers, we have a narrative designer, but we only had Eli as a developer and Itai as a tech artist, only to create this demo. Now after we decided that, okay, this is the right way, we're going to expand, we wanted to bring more developers and focusing on Unreal, of course.
So Eli must be over the moon that you've had this investment then, because he's finally going to get some help.
That's for sure. Yeah, it's got to get a lot of help, to be honest.
I want to add something to that point that Tim said about the lighting and all the explosions. One of the biggest things that I noticed when I played RTS games, and I think many other games, is the feedback. And some of the feedback is it can be visual, but it also can be audio and camera shakes. And this is something that we really pointed out when we worked on this demo, because we know that a really huge thing is the feeling that the player has when he experiences the game. And we always has this like we always put our hands on it and we check it so many things, and we always ask for feedback and about commands and all the key bindings, because those little things that a lot of RTS developers forget about, they're like one of the main things that you enter the game and play it.
Yeah, and we have our community that's giving us constant feedback, for better or worse, for everything that we're uploading, and it's a very valuable feedback for us. You must listen to your community, because this is your audience and this is your people. I mean,
Shout out.
Explosions
Yeah.
are always going to be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we always think about them, we always talk about, some weapons, and then I want that explosion to be like this.
Yeah.
It's interesting the mention of community feedback there. Because I'm aware that your Discord it's very heavy in terms of the amount of content that you provide for your audience. I think it's fantastic. I think it's actually the perfect way to do it is, look, this is what we're working on. What do you think? This is our next update. What do you think? How much does community feedback influence the direction that you take?
Just a small thing, a small example. We talked about the explosions, and we have this, how do you call it? This bubble that's expanding with the explosion, and the community didn't like it. And then we actually haven't noticed it because it was so fast. And then when they pointed it out, we said, oh, really? Well, that doesn't look so good. So we went into effect and edited it and took it out, and it looks much better now. So even if with the smallest things, from the smallest to the biggest, I mean, it depends on the topic, yeah. But it's very valuable and useful to us. I mean, it's quite of early QA, if you look at it.
Also, I want to add to that we have a lot of small conversations, and we also added to our Discord channel a forum that called the Pit, where people can suggest and talk with us about anything they want in the game. And we listen and learn a lot from those small discussions, like having your own RTS forum, and to see, a lot of people dreams. And, sometimes they had those huge ideas that can help us, even though if it's for the second game because of multiplayer terms or anything else, it really help you validate what you do, really help you validate that.
Yeah, because you have a lot of people that are playing games like us, for playing RTS games for 20 or 30 years, and they have their own ideas and their own feedback. I was not a developer or an artist 5 years ago. I was doing music and playing RTS games. So I was basically them.
And now you're living the dream.
Trying to.
I want to talk about the scope of this game, because my understanding is you look at 30 mission campaign, multiple game modes. And you're, which I think is really good as well, user-generated content, so mods, maps, units, that kind of thing, from your community. Is there a risk that you're doing too much?
It's ambitious, but it's very intentional. I know it can be a risk, but we already scoped so many things we wanted in the start, and even if we have those 30 missions and all of those other things like campaign and multiple game modes and user generated content, our team is still growing. We're right now around 12, with plan to scale up towards 20 maybe, and potentially beyond that, depending on the development progress. We've built multiple paths in the business development of the whole company, and we also built different paths for the roadmap. But at the same time, we conscious scope decisions. For the first game, we stepped back from multiplayer, like I said, and from doing a second full faction campaign. Part of that franchise planning, but we also realistic about how much it costs and how much time we have in our hands, and we don't want to develop a game for 10 years and then people will say, hey, 10 years. Let's talk. It's so far from now.
Yeah, we don't we don't want to get like we got GTA 6 before Defcon Zero.
Yeah. So what is right now on the table is strong game mods with intent to achieve meaningful user-generated content tool, which is the only thing that we aim to have a struggle with because we know how much that can be a struggle. And we see the launch as the finish line, but although we intend to launch the game as a 1.0 game, with no early access at all. We don't want early access, but we know we will keep expanding, updating, and improving like any other game that was like 20 years ago. We'll always give updates and expand the player experience after they buy the game, of course. Yes, the vision can be big. But the scope itself is really tightened up, and we saw that we can make those decisions in a very higher level right now. And this is why we invested so much time in pre-production, around 6 months. And we are genuinely proud of what we did there because that was so much work, which people don't know about it because people who doesn't develop games, they probably think that you start develop and you just start working, but you need to make those huge documents and huge roadmaps, and you have the Miro and you have the the Confluence and everything around you, which is like can be so overwhelming sometimes. But if you do it right, it will help you develop the game that you want.
Yeah, you mentioned CQB before. You guys that don't know, but Amir actually wrote 100 pages around CQB, and we needed to scale it down to what we can actually put in the first game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was 2 years ago.
yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah.
A question about the campaign, the 30 mission campaign. I've played so many RTSs in my life. I have to say a lot of them ended up being, it's a series of missions with a vague story where every time you play the mission, you start with very little, you build up your base, most of the map is taken up by enemies, and you slowly build up a big enough army until you can right click to the enemy and win the mission. Is this what Defcon campaign is going to look like?
Nope.
Definitely not. You have like mission types. Let's call it mission types. Let's call it, some missions are like commando missions and stuff like that. This is like the old way to look at it. But we're trying to just bind it to the lore and have the lore dictates how the mission will look like, and not build the mission and then how to put the lore inside of it. We're trying to go really in a lore-driven way because the story it's like the main thing here, and we even before we're writing the missions lore, let's call it like that, we're building the universe and the world history, and like we wrote like 40,000 years before the first game, like already what's happened.
I love it. I love it.
I think it was one of our first episodes that Tim, I think, was on this one. We talked about narratives in strategy games and whether they were important. And for what is a campaign, I think it's absolutely vital that you don't just have the story as a vehicle for
exactly.
Hey, this is mission 1, this is mission 2, this is mission 3. There needs to be some emotional weight behind it. I guess it's like, why are we fighting?
And then I'm really proud to say that we reached to a point after a few years of working on the story and the lore that we're looking at it and we're looking at the world map that we build, and we're like, okay, we're actually in a position that you can point everywhere you want in the map and create a story from there and create another game if it's a first person or even a TV series, because we gave so much focus to create a story and the universe that's surrounding the game even before we started creating the game itself. And now it's actually something that drives the entire project. I mean, we have slogans, we have currency, we have hierarchy in the world itself. We have like so many to give, you know, to the people, but we have so much that now we are actually planning to how we're gonna show it to everyone without it to be overwhelming, because you have so much information behind it.
Yeah, and you can you see now right now only Era and but you have subfactions, you have other tribes, you have other different animals, different parts of the world. It's not like, you know, you go to a continent like Europe or Africa or something like that, which will be already something that you know about.
Yeah.
And not only that, the lore is like something. If you look at games like Battle for Middle Earth, or you look at Warhammer games. So from my perspective, I entered Battle for Middle Earth because someone told me that the Lord of the Rings had a like RTS game, which is like two of my best friends, like heading up to for a drink. So who wouldn't be there? I think those are the things that will change a lot of people experience, that they will fall in love with the lore, and it will help them understand later on when you jump into a second game. It will be like, hey, we know the lore, we know the world. I want to know more, so it will help them, you know.
Will you tell us when Hollywood come knocking?
Yeah. We'll probably have more than one interview, guys.
I love it when you're playing a game or just fiction in general, and especially with science fiction, when you feel the world is bigger than in the little sandbox that you're participating in, and not everything is explained straight up at once, but you do get some hints that there's some things going on over here and over there, and you feel like you're part of something much bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think that at the moment we are in a bit of an RTS renaissance, and we did one of our first episodes was the RTS. I think it might have been was it the first episode, Tim, or the second episode? We did RTS Renaissance, didn't we? And
That's like a
it was a
million
long
years
time ago. It was a million years ago, and we said that we think that we are in this renaissance for RTS games. And when we interviewed Brandon Castile, who's the game designer for Tempest Rising, and when I said to him, "Are we in an RTS renaissance?" he said, "No." I was quite taken aback. I was like, "What do you mean, no?" Not the answer I was expecting, but thanks for your honesty. What do you guys think? I mean, we've got Tempest Rising, there's Sanctuary, there's a number of RTS games which are either just been released or are in active development. Dorf, Dustfront. Are we in a renaissance?
Honestly, many people talk about it as a renaissance. I think it is, because if you look at how it happened with earlier RTS that were successful, like back in the 2000, it started with several good games, and then it expanded to so many RTS games. I think we are in that point, and we also saw some analytics about the gaming industry, and we saw some great analytics about RTS games. And I think it's because of some really, really good games that came out for the last years, like Total War games and Beyond All Reason and Metal Lords and other games that were really successful. And also, we can feel it also on Reddit, and I can feel it too when I'm looking at content creators. You can put them all up, and you got several millions of RTS players, and most of the RTS players, if they have the 2 or 3 Warcraft games or Starcraft games or Command and Conquer games, they will probably buy them all because they will want to play them all. So, and also in matter of competition, there is no competition. It's more like colleagues today, because we all we all will enjoy this success of one, because if Defcon Zero will be a success, another game that will come after that will be a success probably too, because it will have more players if it will be good, of course. And we look at any other competitor success as a success for us, because it will help us grow the community. And at the end of the day, we are like an extincted species, and if we helped this community, and it won't be extinct like the pandas.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, we are one of the smallest communities in the gaming world. We should stick to each other and help each other in every way. I was believing in that also when I was on the music industry, and small artists that just began their journey was coming to me, and I was showing them like the biggest secrets in music, and everybody's like, why are you telling them that? It's like a secret that moving on with a big artist for many years. And I was like, if you share with someone and help him grow, it will come back to you one day, and it will do good for our scene, because we're not in competition. Everybody can be successful together. Nobody's taking the other one's place. A good game, it's a good game. A good track, it's a good track, and everybody will listen to it. And it ends with that. I mean,
you want to see other RTS games successful, because if they're successful, more people playing RTS games, which means more people play Defcon Zero.
And our investors will invest in other RTS games, and we will have something to play as well.
Yeah. And not only that, we also don't let anyone talk really bad about any other RTS developers, and we had a strict rule around it. And we also jumped into other RTS Discord, and we introduced us, and we talked to the other devs, and we already tried to have some collaborations maybe, because we believe that it's actually something that Tim Campbell told us, that back in the day, Westwood had this collaboration with Blizzard, and it was really, really cool that they switched developers in some sort of way to help each other, and we were like amazed because of that. And we were like, I hope it will be the same right now. I would love to help someone else, and someone else help me, because we, at the end of the day, we are making games, and those, like, if both of the games in the same price, it wouldn't really matter for the player. If those games are good, they will buy both.
Let's say it like that. If I'm having an issue with one system, and you having an issue with other game system, and we don't help each other, we both gonna have two games with two different problems. But if we help each other, we will have two good games.
It's the classic prisoner's dilemma.
Yeah,
exactly.
Other than developing Defcon Zero, what games are you playing at the moment?
At the moment, I'm playing Age of Darkness. Amir recommended to me, to be honest. I'm playing it with my girlfriend on co-op, and it's kind of amazing. I'm usually not into fantasy. I'm more a sci-fi guy, but it's a really good game, to be honest.
And I'm playing. I actually introduced StarCraft 2 to my wife, because she played Age of Mythology, Age of Darkness, Warcraft, and she tried so many RTS games, and of course CNC. And then I told her, "What about StarCraft? You never played it." She was like, "Should I?" Yes. And then we started playing together, and she really loved it. Other than that, I'm playing the Game of the Year, Claire Obscure right now. I'm just started it, and I'm amazed. No, it's not an RTS, but I'm amazed.
When you're playing StarCraft, does your wife let you win?
Yeah, it's right now it's more like a co-op thing. But she really liked the mechanics and the micro. Actually, she liked the micro, and I was like, "We are not the same. You love the micro, and I'm not." If I'm playing, most of the time I'm going back, like an Almog, I think too. We are going back to the CNC 3, and I also just started again 2 weeks ago the Battle for Middle Earth 1, and I have 2 on waiting for me. And I'm enjoying them as much as I enjoyed them for the first time. It's amazing how much those games good, that if you come back to them after 10 years, 15 years, they're best. They're something else, just something else that was out there. And most of it because of the law, from my perspective. The law is so good and treating down so bad, so exactly like how you want it to be.
We did an episode of the best games of 2025 a few weeks ago, well, a couple of months ago now. The end result was the best games of 2025 were 2 DLCs and Dawn of War from 2001. So, so I can really see the benefit of going back and playing those old games. And I think the Command & Conquer Remastered Collection was absolutely fantastic when that came out, and I still
It was
jump in
amazing.
and,
Yeah.
I still play some of that. So, in terms of Command & Conquer, because I think it's very clear to anybody who's seen Defcon Zero that there are some similarities. And you've said yourself, you grew up on Westwood games. Tim Campbell's endorsement has meant the world to you because of your passion for those games. Is there any concerns that people are going to look at Defcon Zero and say, well, this is a CNC clone? Or do you take that as a huge positive when people say that?
We actually take it as a compliment for now, and we also have the understanding that we exposed so little of the game that it still looks like generals, but when we will show the entire vision, it will take people to a completely different path. So we don't give too much focus to comparisons at the moment. You know, some people say Red Alert, some people say Command & Conquer, but when we show everything with our inspirations that we already shared with the community, inspirations from Mad Max, from the Alien franchise, Prometheus, you know, when it's all gonna stick together to one big glued together to one product, it will look like something else, more of a mix of different worlds.
Yeah, I think there's no such thing as entirely original art, right?
Yeah.
As for today, yeah, because unfortunately we weren't born in the 90s or the 80s, so everything.
But even then, I think even Command & Conquers was built on Dune, and that was built on something else. So I mean, there's everything. Yeah,
it was all built on chess, wasn't it, Tim?
Which actually I'm playing now religiously. I've discovered this game. I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Very hard game.
I haven't played chess since childhood.
But I think it makes a good point that if people say, well, Defcon Zero, it's a clone of Command & Conquer Generals. Yeah, well, Command & Conquer Generals is a clone of StarCraft, which is a clone of Dune, which is a clone of Herzog Zwei, and which is a clone of a clone of all the way back to chess and drafts and
iterative design, right?
Yeah, the same breath we can say that all shooting games are the same.
But you take it as a massive positive, and I think that's really good because when we spoke to Brandon about Tempest Rising, they leaned heavily into the Command & Conquer inspiration. They're like, yeah, we want to make a game for Command & Conquer fans, and they really captured that. And it's not a negative to be inspired by something which was so great.
Yeah, we are inspired by Command & Conquer and inspired by the Generals, Red Alert, and all the great games, as we said before, but we try to be Defcon Zero, and we try to create our own legacy and our own identity. And it will be revealed with time. You know, it's still early. We showed so little of the game, I mean, with this demo.
The biggest question for this interview: when can I play? And I mean me, not Tim, not anybody else. Just when can I play? Forget everybody else. This is all about me now. It's my podcast.
We are kind of like keeping the release date close to our hearts, even though we already have like some sort of point that we know that in that year it will be out probably. We don't know yet when. But what I can tell you that we are walking into a demo that we can put in the players' hands, something a little bit with more potential than what we have for the tech demo, of course. And we also want to have this demo a little bit before for content creators, podcasters, and people who will help us, do like a tiny QA before it released to the whole community. It won't be the same as the demo we built for the technical. It will be some sort of the same, but not the same, because it will have a little bit more mechanics. It will be, of course, more polished, and it will have some more of the lore that we intend to give for the players. More units, of course. And we've restarted that effort with we are going to restart it right now with a much stronger foundation, which is very, very important, that it will be stable as a demo, because we don't want to ruin everything we already built with the community, and we want to keep that way. And we know it will take a little bit more time than what we thought. We thought that we will already be with a demo outside right now for the community. But because of everything that's going on, which is good, we postponed it a little bit. And we think that it's smart. And we always stick to that sentence that a bad game or a bad demo will always be bad as a memory for the players. But a good game, even if it's delayed, it's a good game eventually.
And also, this demo will feature the identity we're talking about, because in our tech demo, we wanted just to show that we can create a good game and we can create a beautiful game that's a fun game and everything. But now we need to put all of our ideas into this demo and show actually what Defcon Zero is.
Show a little bit of the soul of the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you give us a release window? A year?
For the demo? Let's say that if we talk about the demo, I can give you around September, October, if everything goes well. If not, so you will be postponed. For you guys, it will be much earlier.
Oh, fantastic. See, that was all you had to say. That was all. No, if it doesn't happen in September, October, then we won't come and hunt you down or anything like that, because we're very, very.
You can always try. We are used to it.
We are very aware that these things are released when they are released and when they are ready. And you're absolutely right. If you release something which is bad quality, then people always remember that, and you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Exactly.
So it has to be right. And for a final release, if you don't want to say, don't say. It's fine. But
I can say between 2.5 to 3 years at maximum. Let's say it like that. Yeah, because we're just getting into the offices now and starting the production all over again with a bigger team. We will start, and we're not rushing to announce, because suddenly it might be 2 years. And we don't want just to give a date that is too far away from us at the moment.
Yeah.
And also not too early, of course. So people would be like, hey, wait, where are you guys? Are you the next GTA game?
Yeah. And you'll come back and talk to us again.
Of course.
Excellent.
Of course.
See, Tim, I told you the word.
You always invited. You're always invited to physically arrive to the office as well.
Which is located where?
Israel.
In Israel.
Yeah. Just bring your Iron Dome. I want to add to that around about the thing that we always open to interview and talk with people. We are not like looking at everyone from the higher window, and we will never be that way. And I hope that if we will, that you will have this podcast that I said that I won't do that, because it's important to remember from where you are. I'm from you. I'm like you guys, the same
Absolutely.
guy.
Yeah, and if we forget it one day, feel free to smack us in the head and.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we have many reasons to hunt you down.
Yeah.
Almog, you made reference to DevGam, and you said it was emotional getting into DevGam. I'll be honest, I didn't know what DevGam was. Can you explain what that is and why it was so important to you?
Yeah, it was not specifically for that competition. It's just our first competition. And as a team that worked for 2 years without any promise and without any salary, and we don't know what the future holds for us, that it was quite an excited moment for us and for the entire team. But we wanted to win. We wanted to win something at Defcon, but we already know that we were too early. It was only a tech demo. It was not showing the entire game's vision and everything. So I understand that one day in the future we might.
And getting in is recognition of the project, isn't it, as well?
Yes, of course. Every small step that we're doing, as a small team, again, it's every little thing for us. It's like so huge at the moment, and it will continue to be, I guess, because we love what we do.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. We're coming to the end. I'm just going to ask you for one more thing. If you consider we have many, many tens of listeners, and they've played every CNC game, they've played Dawn of War, they've played Company of Heroes, they've played every RTS that is out there. Give me your 30-second pitch as to why Defcon Zero is worth being on their radar.
So I want to ask before that is it 30 seconds for each, or like it's like just for one of us?
I'm not timing it, so you can do 30 seconds each. It's fine.
Okay, so I will start. If you grew on Command and Conquer games or Dawn of War or Company of Heroes, Defcon Zero exists for one simple reason: to bring back those feelings. We came into this project to revive the joy as RTS fans. It was something that you all talked about, argued about, and we thought about it all day long since we were like, I don't know, I was 5 since I started playing RTS game, and this was something that I was talking about the whole day in my class, with my brothers, with my friends, with everyone, even with my teachers. I want my kids to sit next to me later on and watch me play RTS games like I used to play my older brothers. The early 2000s gave us an incredible RTS foundation, and we believe now is the moment to take that legacy, respect it, and push it forward with modern systems, deeper mechanics, and a world built for the next generation of RTS players. And that's Defcon Zero for me.
For me, it's because we are them. We are the old school RTS heads who grew up on the best games humanity ever created. Command and Conquer, and I don't need to repeat it so many times. And it was at the times that fancy graphics wasn't a thing yet, and there was not a reason for someone to buy a game. It was the times that creativity and innovation was pouring out of Westwood Studios and others like fine wine. And what captured us as fans in the past can be created again. This great experience that ignited our imagination are living in our heads for over 30 years, if I recall correctly. That's our spirit, that's our goal, not only to create beautiful RTS games, but to create stories, experience, and pure RTS magic. And as is the slogan of ERA, so our hearts, mind, and soul dedicated to bring back those feelings from ashes to glory.
Wonderful.
Brilliant. Woohoo!
Let's go, Defcon Zero, yeah!
Yeah! Guys, thank you so much for coming and joining us for this episode. It is really appreciated, and we are massive fans of indie games, RTS games in particular, and we will champion them until the cows come home. So it's been absolutely great having you on. In the description for this podcast episode, you'll find the page to go and wishlist Defcon Zero. You'll find a link to their Discord. Go and pay them a visit. Go and say hello. Go and tell them that Al from Critical Moves sent you as well, because we are big fans. Thanks very much. It's been all right. You've enjoyed it.
We enjoyed that a lot, yeah, of course.
It was amazing.
It was great, guys.
Excellent. See, it just makes me smile. I'm so pleased. Tim, as always, you're a legend. Thanks very much. But from Critical Moves, that's the end of the episode. So thanks very much. Take it easy. Goodbye.